Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So the big question is are golf lessons worth it? So I think the answer to that you'd think is quite self-explanatory. Well, yes, of course they're worth it. The thing is I think it really comes down to the individual and what your personal goals are in golf. Mine is to get to single figures, and to be a single-figured handicap golfer, even at 9, let alone 5 or 3 or 2 or 1 or scratch, you need to be on the ball with your game. You need to be able to be very consistent with hitting your balls, which is probably the most important thing, but course management is also another thing. I think one of the big issues with golf is you don't know what you're doing wrong. If I go out on a course and slice a ball or hook a ball, I don't know what I did typically in my swing, which was different to the last swing, where a golf pro will be able to tell you straight away why you're doing that. If I go down a range and get a bucket of balls, like you can see me here, if I start hitting them out to the right or pulling them, pushing them, snap hooking them, I won't know why I'm doing it. I still struggle to see why I might be doing something, but I have now got the knowledge, because I've been going to lessons, on things to look for: club angle, my grip, my stance, my the way I'm turning, and a number of other things that I've learned. So I have got that ability to some degree to correct a slice, say, if I see it down the driving range. And I think this is where golf lessons are really important, because you will learn all these different tweaks. So eventually you won't need the lessons because you'll know what to tweak if you start slicing. Another thing I found which was very interesting was I'd watched YouTube video after YouTube video on how to hit your driver properly. And you got some golf pro on there and he's saying, do this, and have you got an out to in swing, and have you do that, change that. And to be honest with you, until you actually have a golf professional stand there and show you by actually moving your body and saying, this is how you want to feel, that's the move you want to be doing. You can watch as many YouTube videos as you like. You can't seem to get it from a YouTube video. Well, I couldn't personally. Maybe some people can. There's probably some things you can get from a YouTube video, like adjusting your grip. I mean, that's really just turning a hand. But when it comes to actually your swing and getting that feel of what it should be like, you can't get that from a YouTube video. You have to actually get a golf pro swing the club for you whilst you're holding it to feel the move you're supposed to be doing, and for him to actually move your body around. Then and only then you kind of really feel what it's like to be swinging the club properly. And then you can go off and practice that feel, that what the club pro has shown you. The idea, or the question is you have to ask yourself, why do I want a lesson? Is a lesson going to really help me improve my golf based on how much I play golf? Now, maybe you're somebody who plays once a week. Maybe you're somebody who plays once a month. And I'm going to be honest, but with all the people I used to play with when I was younger, the people who played every couple of weeks, once every couple of weeks with no practice in the middle, they typically had anywhere between an 18 and a plus handicap. Some bit more talented, maybe they just were better at striking the ball, a bit more consistent, or they've been playing for a lot longer and they've just figured it out. For the most part, the people I used to play with who only played once every couple of weeks, their handicap was mediocre to quite high. If you play every week with no practice in between, your handicap will get to a point where it just won't budge any further. And it's because you're probably doing things in your golf swing that are just not helping, and you're having no lessons and no practice in between. If you're just somebody who loves to play a round of golf once a week, then that's great. But but don't ever expect to get down to something like single figures. When I was younger, although I never had an official handicap, breaking 80 I could do quite regularly. In an actual fact, on the course, my regular course I used to play with, the front nine I would quite often finish 1 or 2 under par. The back nine is where I would fail miserably because it was a much tougher back nine than the front nine was much tougher. But typically my handicap, if it was official, would be, I've always said, around anywhere between 9 and 13. I know that's a bit of a, but you can never tell, and unless you get an official handicap. But the fact is I couldn't afford it. But I did play with people who were off single figures who had official handicaps, and they all had the same thing in common. They practiced loads. They would play once a week, once a fortnight. Sometimes they would play a couple of times a week. But in between that, they're practicing and constantly trying to fine-tune their golf. And of course, 30 years ago, there was no rangefinders, there was no slow-motion cameras that were easy accessible, there were no iPhones you could record yourself, there was none of that. You literally went to a golf pro and said, teach me. He would show you how to grip the club and show you how to swing, and then you basically had to go off and practice that. You couldn't record yourself, you couldn't do anything you can do today. So as I said, it really comes down to what your goals are in golf. If you just want to play around the golf for a bit of fun once a week, and you don't really care where the ball goes, and you don't mind losing balls, and you just love the game and just enjoy going round as it, then great, you probably don't even need any lessons. But if you're fed up with slicing, hooking, shanking and things like this, then you probably need a lesson. And then that will hopefully fix that issue. But it doesn't mean it's going to fix your golf or make your golf amazing. It may just fix one issue, and I can guarantee you there's going to be 100 issues to try. For me personally, my biggest issue is my driver. I have no confidence over my driver standing over it. It goes everywhere. You'll see it here. I nobble it, I shank it, I thin it. Some go really well, and most tend to slice or fade. So I don't like the feeling of standing over a tee with my driver in my hand and not knowing where the ball's going to go. You're aiming down the centre of a fairway, obviously, but you're sitting there going, this could go anywhere. Oh, well, let's just go for it. My last game, I was quite happy because I managed to hit it down the middle pretty much on all the holes where I used my driver. I was very pleased, except for the last hole, for the 18th. For some reason, I just skied it. Yeah, I even took a divot out of the ground, my driver, and it was teed up. So don't know what happened on that hole, but anyway. But for me, I've spoken to the golf pro while I'm having lessons, and he's basically said it starts with your golf swing where your irons are. You get your irons sorted out and the swing sorted out, then you just pretty much do exactly the same with your driver. But obviously there are slight differences with how you stand, ball position and things like this. The swing's a bit different on the driver, but if you get the fundamentals correct on your irons, it will gravitate through to your driver, making your driver a lot better as well. So for me, I went to the golf pro and said, look, I'm just inconsistent. My iron striking is good, but it's inconsistent. I can hit them straight quite well. I can hit them well. When they go well. But it's hit and miss whether I'm going to pull one, push one, hit one straight, nobble one, whatever. It is really, out of 10 shots, I might get 3-4 go straight, and then the rest kind of straight, left, right, all over the place. So it's that sort of inconsistency that I needed to sort out. And the reason I was doing it, he said straight away, is I'm not turning with my body to hit the ball. I'm using my arms more to hit the ball. And this is where the inconsistency comes from. So I've been practicing this in my net at home and down my driving range. What you're seeing here is me from several months ago. These are videos that I was doing for several months ago to see if I can try and fix my own issues, which never works because I don't even know what I'm looking at, which is why another reason a golf pro is important if you want to fix something. I couldn't tell you how to fix a slice just by looking at your swing. I wouldn't know, but a golf pro can do this. Now already, since having my golf lessons, all 3 of them, I've seen massive results in my consistency. So here you can see this is the results of my last trip down the golf range, and the consistency, the grouping of each of my irons is coming along nicely. There's still room for improvement, obviously. Well, I think there always will be, but this is my 9 iron. Got one funny one there, but my distances I'm happy with as well. I then skipped my 8 iron and went straight to my 7 iron, which again, really happy with the grouping. There's a couple of little stragglers there, but then 6 iron followed that, and then eventually on to my 5 iron. But my 6 iron, the grouping was good, you can see there. Distances, pretty happy. And then my 5 iron was all over the place. That wasn't particularly good. I don't know why, I just didn't strike it very well that day. So again, other days I'll go down there, I'll be striking that very well. So are lessons very, very important? I would say they're important if you want to get a low handicap. They're important if you want to fix a bad part of your game. But they're not absolutely necessary. When I played back in the day, like I said earlier in this video, I was playing off somewhere between 9 and 12. I can't give you accurate figures. And I never had a lesson. I couldn't afford lessons back then. I couldn't even afford a membership, which is why I never had a proper handicap. Although I don't even know if you could get a handicap outside of being a member. I couldn't tell you. So for me, I never got lessons. It was all about playing with your friends, playing with better people than you, and then taking the advice off the people with a lower handicap, because you kind of assume that they know better because they're playing better, and just trying to figure it out yourself. So they're not important as in you have to have lessons, but it is a slower way of improving. If you want to kind of fast track your way, then I think lessons are a massive, massive help. Anyway, let me know what you think. Do you think lessons are important, or do you think that you can manage without them? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always happy to hear what people have to say about golf. Always up for a conversation about golf. I love the game. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. It helps the algorithms get my videos noticed. And I'll see you in the next video. And I'm out on the 18-hole course. It may not be the next video, but I'm out next week in a few days on the 18-hole, hoping to hit below 90. So if you want to see that, hit the subscribe button. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.